What's up, guys? My name is Victor. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It is Friday, and every Friday I like to do a question and answer video where I answer people's questions about the ascension or awakening process. Here are the questions for this week. So number one, just about maybe the number one question on everyone's mind is, how long is this ridiculously challenging and uncomfortable process of ascension or awakening going to really take? And I had this question for a long time, like, when am I going to be done? Because there are so many points along your journey where you feel you've made such progress that you feel like you're almost there. You're like, okay, I think I got it now. I got what I need. I feel good. This is it. And then you plummet back down into the inner depths of your ego and you realize just how deep that rabbit hole actually goes. And it can leave you very flustered and frustrated because it's just taking so long. It seems that we have an endless amount of baggage. The longer you go through this, the more you realize is there. And it only accelerates the more expanded you become. You realize just to different levels and degrees of how dysfunctional and screwed up you really are, basically. And the fact that most of your decisions and beliefs and ideas and actions you have taken in your life are really not actions that are representative of you truthfully, truly. They are rather aspects of your ego that have been taken on from your parents and just the energies of the planet, people, society, etc. And it's a long process of sorting this out. And I would invite you to consider to not even ask that question, because there are sources out there that will say ascension is coming on this date, or it's a matter of like waiting for the ascension to occur. The energies of the planet have to get to a certain threshold and then we bounce into fourth density. Well, in a sense, that's true, but it requires people like you and me to do our part and integrate these new energies and purge ourselves of our dense energy so that we help ground this new energy. We are the people grounding this. It would be not a closed circuit if we were not the ones grounding. It'd be just a bunch of energy floating around, not doing anything. It is us. It's a matter of grounding these higher dimensional divine energies into the physical, and we are the conduits who do that. So it's not about when is it going to happen, because you're not. If you are asking that question, that means you're one of the people responsible for raising your own vibration, for going through your path, going, towards your path, towards your own enlightenment. You are the one who's going to help the others ascend. It's on you. It's on me. It's on us. So it's not about when. When are they going to come and save us? No, that sort of perspective, that sort of line of thinking is faulty and will only lead to an endless wait. However, with that said, dude, I totally get it. I understand you think I don't want to be done confronting my inner demons in very challenging and uncomfortable ways. I don't like this any more than you guys, but I've come perhaps to a little bit more of an acceptance of it, and I don't long for it to be over anymore. I don't get to a certain point and think, wow, that was such an epiphany, and I feel so centered and in tune with my higher self that this has got to be it. I don't get attached to that anymore. That's the one piece of advice I would have, is just, you'll know it when it comes. You know you're getting closer when you feel more consistently more love and joy in your present moment. You long for the future less. You are triggered by other people's actions, even though they might be completely contrary to how you would do it and conduct yourself. You have acceptance and love and compassion for all people, even bad people, even evil people, even the fucking Illuminati. Those people, they have their role. Holding on to a resentment for people like that is shit that you have to let go of. So how accepting and loving are you at this moment? And that's, again, a lot of you guys probably don't feel that way at all right now, because as you're in the process, you are constantly bombarded with your own ego stuff, which makes you temporarily feel the opposite of what I just described. So because you might not feel loving at all, and you feel extremely triggered and extremely resentful, that doesn't necessarily mean you're like way off, or it's a long way for you. No, in a sense, it's a big paradox, because on one hand, what I just said was true. The more loving and accepting you are, the further you're getting along in the process. On the other hand, the more loving you accept and accepting you are means the further you have gone on your path. And the further you go on your path, the more negativity you can handle at one time. So it kind of like accelerates as you're able to handle it. It's a big wishy-washy paradox. But again, holding on to the question of when, in my opinion, is counterproductive, and it will only slow down your ascension process. It took me about 7 years to discover that on my own, so don't feel bad if you've been like wondering this. Hey man, I've been guilty. I've been searching online, listening to different channelers and people like that, people talking to Archangel Michael and all this and that, and I just a conclusion I came up with on my own. And you can take it or leave it. I'm not saying that it's right necessarily. It's just my opinion. Okay, number 2 has to do with, I call it Ascension Paranoia, where I've been getting a lot of comments and people asking me about this. They'll explain to me just a very bizarre and almost like a horrifying scenario that they find themselves kind of stuck in. And really what that actually is, it's deep repressed fear energy that you have been unconsciously carrying around, that as it bubbles up, you temporarily, it becomes so at the front of your mind that you start to kind of rationalize why it's there. You feel it first. The energy comes first, and then our clever minds make sense of it. I feel this because so-and-so is out to kill me. It's because I said this to him at a party one time, and I remember the way he looked at me, and now I've heard he's a dangerous guy, and you can just start going off. You start making sense of it, even though if you were to really verbalize this to another person, they'd be like, "The fuck are you talking about, dude? Jesus." But in your mind, because the fear is so captivating and potent and strong, you start to rationalize the energy of itself. But again, it's like a slow process. It comes up, you're taking over, and then as it starts to go away, you're like, "Oh my fuck, thank God that was an illusion. Jeez, whoa, fuck." And it's like, whew, you're safe. and this has just happened, and this can manifest a million different ways. I've had the real concern that my family was gonna get killed, that our house was gonna burn down, that my wife went through a phase where she was like paranoid about like being in a car and getting like into a vicious, deadly car accident. And again, in the moment, it feels very real, very like, of course this is gonna happen. Don't you see the logic in it? But there's no logic in it. Our clever minds can rationalize anything. I used to be a fucking heroin addict. I used to rationalize the most obscene behaviors you can imagine. And given enough time, a clever person can rationalize just about anything. Just look out into the world. There's your example. So I'd say don't worry if this is happening to you, but you're gonna worry. That's the point of the worry. You're gonna worry until you realize the absurdity of the worry. And then eventually, beyond that, you'll see why the worry was there, where it came from, its true origin. Most likely, it's an energy or an attitude or a belief that you absorbed from your parents. And not to be, and then the idea is not to be resentful of them because they didn't know any better. It's not something that might have happened to you or something someone said to you. It's simply an attitude that people who you're close to holds on to, and we are very connected. And we absorb this sort of stuff. So a lot of your fear is truly not your fear. It's someone else's fear that you unconsciously picked up, and now it's manifesting in such a wild way, so you will see the craziness of it, so you can finally let it go for good, and then you'll never have to go through that again. So toxic relationships, that's kind of a theme right now. I chose to actually bring this up. No one actually asked this question, but I wanted to talk a moment about this because right now we're in a period, like astrologically, the energies where we're evaluating like all of our relationships. We're being reminded of past relationships, relationships that have ended, maybe current relationships, and it's a real time to evaluate the real truth of them. Why did we part ways? Am I holding on to anything? Do I need to go back and like revisit certain relationships because there's unfinished business? Right now there's just a lot of different, that's like the theme right now. You might find yourself contemplating certain relationships in your life. Stale, outdated relationships that were perhaps created out of dysfunction. You guys at one point were at a certain level together and you met up, and you're going to start questioning that. You're going to start seeing more of the truth in it because you're growing rapidly. You're growing so fast, and as you grow, again, you will notice relationships ending kind of quickly, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that you're growing so fast. Most people aren't growing at this rate, and therefore vibrationally can't keep up, and that manifests, and you guys just like this feeling like there's nothing there. You forget to call them, you forget to call her, and sometimes there's like a little bit of a blowout. Oftentimes it's just a natural falling away. But you're going to start, the more empowered you become and the more worthy you feel as a human being, the less tolerant you are going to become. You're not going to tolerate relationships that are egoic and dysfunctional, where it's one-sided, where you're just kind of like afraid to break away because you feel bad for this person or you want to save them or help them. Their defects, their faults, the imbalance will become more and more and more known to you, more obvious, more unable to ignore, and you will part ways, because it's not good for either of you to force yourselves into a relationship that is no longer in alignment. And this is nothing I can tell you whether you're going to stay or go. You'll be able to come to these conclusions on your own, and it'll be a very natural thing. It just allow yourself to contemplate these things without the urgency of coming to a conclusion right away. Because anytime we have unfinished business in our life, we want to get to the bottom of it. We want to be done. It causes internal discord. It doesn't feel good, but it takes time. So just allow this contemplation period of your current relationships and do what you know is right in your heart. Lastly, I would like to talk about channeling. What is channeling? Can you channel? What's this whole thing of channeling? It's a big popular thing nowadays. Some people channel extraterrestrial consciousnesses. Some people channel like collective consciousnesses, like whole like alien societies can like have one mass consciousness that gets channeled through people. And there's just a lot of like hoopla about it. There's a lot of misinformation being spread about it. I just want to give you my perspective. Not to say I know everything, but this is my understanding of channeling. Channeling is a very natural thing, and we all do it to some degree. In my opinion, channeling is when you let go enough to where your higher self or your fuller other aspects of your own consciousness comes through very naturally. I do my best to channel during these videos. I try my best. In fact, I prepare by doing a little bit. I have this routine I do, this whole routine I'm going to come out with, I'll tell you guys about. But I do this entire routine that helps me shake away as much of my ego as I can, and I just try to let go and let whatever wants to come through. And that sounds like, oh, you're just sitting back, letting me come through. It's not that big of a deal, because it is you. So on one hand, it's you talking. On another hand, you are in a state of letting go, and things just kind of tend to pop out of your mouth randomly that sound pretty good. Like, oh wow, damn, I'm pretty smart, or I'm pretty cool. You might have had those moments. Usually when you're doing something you love the most, doing your passion, that's when you're channeling yourself, and it just, your brilliance, your soul's brilliance can kind of filter out into whatever that might be. I like YouTube videos. You might like painting, playing guitar. Could be a million different things. Could be something even simple. Maybe you're an amazing parent, or an amazing friend, or an amazing coworker, and it could be a million different things. But channeling is just when you let go enough to where other aspects of your consciousness can filter through uninhibited by your ego structure. And because we are such complex, large souls, human beings with perhaps thousands of simultaneous lives taking place right now in this current moment, we oftentimes dip into, channel through little aspects of our personality, can very easily correspond to an entire other existence, another world, another lifetime, and it comes through in that moment because it's relevant. But the whole idea, if you want to learn to channel, just keep going through your awakening process. Find a way to let go internally. Right now, if you just pay attention, if you take a deep breath, many of you, including myself, you'll sense and detect little bits of resistance in your being. The more sensitive you can become to that, and the more you can like let go, the more will be able to channel. And for some of you, it might be very well that some kind of future self, which is just a relative way of explaining it, really it's a simultaneous reality. You might be able to channel a being that seems very foreign to you now, so you wouldn't think this is also you, like an alien or something that can channel through, and it might have its own name, its own identity. It might be like 10,000 years in the future of speaking in linear time. I know, guys, I know it sounds kind of wacky what I wanted to start talking about, but I would suggest not even worrying about where does it come from, who is it, what are they like? It doesn't matter, man. There's a message that wants to come through. Just worry about that. I hope that sort of that might have just confused you more, but hopefully it wasn't as cluttered as I thought. Channeling is just letting go and letting other aspects of your soul come through. And we're doing it a lot more now. A lot of us are doing it not even knowing they're doing it. There's a lot of like really high-level spiritual people in the world that they don't know any of this. They don't have any idea that they're a light worker, that they're like channeling. They don't know any of that. They don't need to know. It's not relevant for them. But pretty soon, in the near future, we'll all be channeling. We'll all be more merged with our higher selves living in this physical world. And it'll be wonderful because our soul is loving, compassionate, full of passion, full of joy, and just a real asset to the whole.